Star Wars post-sequel trilogy is an empty canvas, an opportunity for greatness. What does Star Wars look like after everything has already happened? The Republic fell. The Empire prospered, but fell. The New Republic took its place, which also failed. And lastly, the First Order collapsed. What happens to the universe now? How do our heroes prosper? Our heroes can be successful as long as they don't make the same mistakes that have happened before. To zoom out, if you look at Star Wars, the Republic was around for such an enormous amount of time, and its fall and the rise and collapse of the Empire, New Republic, and First Order is tiny in comparison. Even though these events happen over such a small amount of time, they are still important because this is where the story of Star Wars takes place. Knowing that the Skywalker saga is finished, and we are moving on to the future, it is crucial for our heroes to not make the same mistakes. Our heroes need to make a sustainable, powerful, but fair government. So how do they go about this? First of all, we have to look at why the government has failed before. Corruption took over the Republic. This was because the Republic was weak. Palpatine, of course, was the mastermind of overturning a fairly strong democracy. Now for the Rey movie and the future of Star Wars, we don't have to worry about a Palpatine-type character to overthrow a democracy, because no one else could have done what Palpatine did except maybe Plagueis. Another reason why the Republic failed was because the Jedi got too involved in politics. The Jedi lost their way. The Jedi had to worry about what the Senate was doing. They had to worry about laws, and they often attended the Senate while it was in session. Also, something no one seems to mention is that the Jedi were located in Coruscant. They lived in the Jedi Temple in the middle of a city planet. How can Jedi focus and be in touch with the Force and be in touch with nature if there is no nature? In Tales of the Jedi, we got to see how this one tree was the only real nature on all of Coruscant. So I think a huge reason the Republic failed was because the Jedi could not be at their best, and they were so out of touch. They were so distracted and focused on the wrong things. Now, surprisingly, the New Republic did not have those problems, but still did fail. The Jedi Order that Luke was rebuilding was not connected in any way to the New Republic. It was isolated on its own planet, and gave the opportunity for students to connect with the nature and with the Force. The New Republic, from what we have seen so far, had no apparent corruption. While yes, we saw many disagreements, there did not appear to be any evil or malicious intent behind those disagreements. The arguments we have seen so far are about how to fix a problem and how to go about things in order to have success. So while they constantly disagreed, they were disagreeing for the right reasons, as everyone wanted the best for the Republic, but the paths that they had in mind were different from one another. The issues that tore down the Republic don't seem to have any connection to the issues that tore down the New Republic. The reason the New Republic fell was because they never actually defeated the Empire. It seems crazy, but in reality, once the second Death Star was destroyed, the rebellion treated it as a victory. However, the Empire was still around in masses. It just lacked leadership. And as we can see in the Mandalorian show, that leadership was found pretty quickly. Another misconception is that the First Order is a separate entity from the Empire. In reality, the Empire just transitioned into the First Order. The New Republic never had respect for the threat of the rising opponent that was the First Order. I think part of the reason they never respected the opponent was because they were so invested and hooked in their politics. The disagreements that they constantly had with each other must have gotten to a point where it was unhealthy. The New Republic senators and politicians may have got sucked into, well, too much politics. On face value, there's no problem with politicians getting sucked into politics, and it may seem normal. However, the problem lies with how they were so sucked into politics, they didn't see the rising military threat that was the First Order. They were so idealistic and in fairy tale land that they never acknowledged the threat until it was too late. So maybe at the beginning of this video, you may have believed it wouldn't be too hard to rebuild the government for the Rey movie and beyond. Now you can see how hard it is, and how easy it is to go wrong, even by doing what seems best at times, can in the long run be the downfall of the government and the way of life for the people of the galaxy. So what can our heroes do in order to ensure a bright future for the galaxy? Well, first of all, they're already in a great situation, because the First Order is totally gone, and there's not a lot of people in the Resistance. The Resistance is a small group of people. Everyone knows everyone, and they just went through this together. This is different from the past, as when the Republic fell, the Senators just became Senators for the Empire, and then when the Empire fell, they became Senators for the New Republic. They just went with the flow. As each government changed, they just did the same thing, basically. This time, however, there are no senators or politicians because, well, they all blew up. So instead, I think they need to switch up how they govern the galaxy this time. They should not have just standard politicians with all the power. While the Senate will of course need to have politicians, as of course I'm proposing a democracy, there does need to be councils that make the big, real decisions that are run by people like Finn and Poe. Leave certain things to the average politician, but big military decisions need to be made by people we trust. Of course, senators can chime in, but I think the people who saved the galaxy, such as Finn and Poe, should have a big say on the future of the galaxy. Now, I intentionally left out Rey. Rey should not be on any councils or even be on the same planet as the Senate and the government. She needs to be disconnected from politics and connected to the Force in rebuilding the Jedi Order. So what say should she have in the government? If she wants something changed, should she call up Finn or Poe? The answer is no. She should have no say on how the government functions at all, and she shouldn't have to worry about it. She should only worry about it as they are rebuilding it. They need to make a government that is trustworthy so Rey doesn't have to think about it. She needs to know that the government is doing its job and that it doesn't need to be repeatedly put back on the right course. She can trust that the government will be making positive decisions because Finn and Poe will lead some major councils and the average politician won't have as much power as before. Not only that, but Finn or Poe could also run for chancellor, and they should. So to summarize, in order for the government to be successful, Rey needs to not be involved. And she can only not be involved when she knows that the right things are being done. The right things are being done because our heroes that were part of the Resistance all have major political jobs inside rebuilding the Republic. So with all those things, they can be successful. And in order to sustain success, they need to always spend time analyzing the fall of the Republic, in order to make sure there's no chance that they repeat these things. Another thing that they have to do is to be actively involved in rebuilding all of the galaxy. When the New Republic got into power, they just rebuilt the core worlds. This time, the government has to put a large effort in rebuilding the entire galaxy, and to make sure there's no Moff Gideon-like characters that are trying to rebuild the First Order. Thanks for watching this video on the future of Star Wars and how to rebuild the government for the Rey movie and the overall future of Star Wars. This is the 4th video in the series, as before this video there was an intro video, a video talking about the Sith, and a video talking about the Underworld. Those videos are on a playlist on my channel if you're interested in watching them. The next video in the series will most likely be covering the future of the Jedi. And at the end, I will probably make one video that has all of the future of Star Wars videos in it. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy.